The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and yes, Virginia, there will be a future. Heading into the All-Star break 1978, the Dodgers and the Astros close out their first half of the season with a weekend sweep set at the Astrodome. It's not what the Astros wanted, but the Dodger fans are pretty happy in the first. Ron Cey, a sac fly ball off of Tom Dixon, 1-0 Los Angeles. In the fourth, after an error, Billy North singled home Dusty Baker. The Dodgers made it 2-0. The Astros came back in the fifth. Enos Cabela single to score Denny Walling, 2-1. Then Jose Cruz with a sac fly to make it 2-2. In the eighth, the Dodgers went ahead. Bill Russell doubled home Davey Lopes to make it 3-2. And then Steve Yeager's fielder's choice in the ninth made it 4-2. Bob Welch, sentimental pitcher that he is, goes the distance. 2 runs, 5 hits, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. He's 3-0. And a fresh arm, Bo McLaughlin, and a bunch of Houston pitchers take the loss. The Dodgers looking for win 57 heading into the All-Star break next. As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Baseball 1978 replay. Today, the 9th of June, 1978, it is the Los Angeles Dodgers and Houston Astros from the Astrodome in Houston. Don Sutton and J.R. Richard. And a happy Mother's Day for those of you watching live on Twitch and YouTube. It'll be Mother's Day when this gets taped. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. The National League schedule is about to get pretty doughy, so you're not going to see a lot of games. The Phillies are playing a lot, so the Mets and the Cubs. The Dodgers are going to go through some bottom feeders, and frankly, there's not much of a race in the National League, especially in the West. The Astros are in second place and 10 back in the win column and 6 back in the loss column. The Dodgers are in very good shape as we head to the break. But we got a good pitching matchup today. J.R. Richard looking for his 7th win. He is probably not going to go to San Diego. Not sure about Don Sutton. We'll see his stats in a moment. But the Dodgers are in pretty good shape. 56-29. This is game 86 for them. And they keep playing well, and they could be done early because the American League races are anything but done. So I hope you're enjoying this day. You know what? It snowed here this morning. Honest to goodness, we got back. I got my hot coffee. It's 40 degrees. It's not the case in the Astrodome where it's 70 and sunny all the time. It's not the case here. So J.R. Richard is taking his warm-up tosses for you. 19 starts on the year for him, coming in at 6-5 with an ERA of 3.07. Robbie Gillette, the best a man can get. And Tribe Fan saying, is right. The weather here, my mom has 3 inches of snow. So J.R. Richard trying to keep the Astros close. This is his 4th start against the Dodgers. He's thrown 24 in the 3rd innings, 17 hits, 11 runs, 9 earned, an ERA of 3.33. He has walked 12 and struck out 28. He is 1-1 with a 3.33 ERA. Rick and Morty, I love it. So on July 4th, he was hurt against the Reds. He only went 2 innings. He struck out 2 and allowed a single. In 135 innings, he's thrown 112 hits, 3 homers, 49 runs, 46 earned. Control, of course, is the issue with Richard. He's walked 63 and struck out 150. He went against the Dodgers in a shutout 5-hit win on the 20th of June, striking out 7. Oh, I'm doing fine, thanks. And so here's the lineup he'll face. Davey Lopes will lead off at second base. Billy Russell is at short. He'll bat second. Reggie Smith, fit as a fiddle in right field, will bat third. Ron Cey, the Penguin, will clean up at third. Steve Garvey at first. You'll see him tomorrow night. will bat fifth. Dusty Baker in left will go sixth. Rick Monday, the center fielder, will bat seventh. Joe Ferguson, former Astro, now a Dodger behind the plate, will bat eighth. And Don Sutton, who can go 130 pitches, will bat ninth. Defensively for Houston, Denny Walling, a 6 and a 4 in left. Terry Poole, a 7 and a 6 in center. And Jose Cruz, a 7 and 7 in right. Enos Cabell, a 6 at third. Mike Fischlin, a 5 at short. Art Howe, a 6 at second. And Bob Watson, a 7 at first. Louis Pujols is a 7 behind the plate with a 1 arm. And J.R. Richard is an 8 on the mound with a .958 fielding percentage. Davey Lopes, who I imagine we will see tomorrow night at 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific from San Diego at 287, 10 homers and 33 RBI. Watson and Cabell play for the bunt. Ball 4. So Richard can throw 150 pitches. And they are going to steal off of J.R. Richard. 4 pitches, 4 balls. That'll bring up Bill Russell at 254. A home run and 32 RBI. Throw to first. Lopes. Oh, my gosh. Well, Andrew from Louisville, how are you this morning or this afternoon? They're going to pitch out. There goes Lopes. The throw goes into center field, and Lopes takes third. So Pujols' throw hit the dirt, got past Howe, and that's an error. And so they were so worried about Davey Lopes that Lopes just kind of stole their minds and took third. So 1-0 count to Russell. Ground ball up the middle. Howe will take the sure out at first from behind the bag, and it's 1-0 Dodgers. Brings up Reggie Smith at 302. 15 homers and 50 RBI. And before the Astro faithful can get settled in, it's 1-0 Los Angeles. Pitch to Reggie is a ground ball, base hit up the middle. It'll be a busy afternoon for Louis Pujols if they don't keep getting runners out. Here's Say at 260, 14 homers and 52 RBI. I saw you were playing that, Andrew. Who are you playing and what course? Throw to first, Reggie back. Pitch to Say, ball 4. So J.R. Richard is yet to retire, just retired 1 batter. That was a 3-1 breaking ball high and outside, and now bring up Garvey. At 335, 14 homers and 64 RBI. From the stretch. Base hit right center field. Smith will hold at third. Say is on second. Garvey on first for Dusty Baker. Where the hell is Lorenzo for this? Baker at 280. 6 homers and 35 RBI. The Astros, and their loss Saturday to the Dodgers, through 5 pitchers. They really need J.R. Richard to go deep. Pitch to Baker. Ground ball, base hit right side. Smith will score. Station to station baseball, 2-0 Dodgers. And that'll bring up Monday. 281, 11 homers, and 38 RBI. 2019 Napa Open is what Andrew's playing. Leaders after 3 rounds, Jonathan Bird and Kevin Na. Yeah, the Gulag say Lorenzo cannot watch it this time. The Napa is where, Andrew? So they're loaded for Monday. Aren't we all? And there's a fly ball to right. Back goes Cruz. Goodbye. Home run. Grand slam for Rick Monday. And before the Astros can get to the plate, they're down 6 runs to Don Sutton. Here it is again. He's going to kick himself for missing this one. Rick Monday. Oh, the Safeway opened in Napa. Okay. Napa Valley. One of the fall tournaments. So 6-0 Dodgers already, and they're all earned. And so J.R. Richards' ERA for the ball game is 162. Now he's going to face his old battery mate, Joe Ferguson, who is 6 for 25 since being traded from Houston. 240 and 2 RBI. Pitch to Joe is into left field. Walling is there. Finally, 2 out. For Don Sutton, the Dodgers will send 9 to the plate. And Richard has done it on 19 pitches. Sut at 159 and 3 RBI. J.R. Roxon fires and finally strike 3. But the Dodgers get 6 runs on 4 hits and an error. How about that? Highlighted by the grand slam by Rick Monday. And the Dodgers are up 6-0 before you can say Anbasol. Well, I don't think Don Sutton would say, as he's making his 18th start of the year, that this has been a year filled with clover for him. He is 11-6 coming into the ball game, and quite frankly, at this point, should be 12-6 because he's been given a 6-run cushion. But his ERA is at 4.17. This is his 3rd start against his future teammates, the Astros. 16 2/3 innings, 19 hits. 9 runs, 8 earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 5. He is 1-1 against Houston with a 4.32 ERA. Fastball pitcher, fly ball pitcher at 86. He went on July 4th. He got his 11th win of the year. That coming against the Braves. 8 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 1 and struck out 4. Season high for strikeouts for Sutton, by the way, came on June 3rd against the Phillies. He struck out 12. So in 136 total innings, 127 hits, 18 home runs, 69 runs total, 63 earned. He's walked 37 and struck out 89. He will face Denny Walling to lead off in left field. Terry Poole in center will bat second. Enos Cabal at third will bat third. Jose Cruz, who cleans up in right field. Bob Watson at first will bat fifth. Art Howe at second will go sixth. Louis Pujols misses Joe Ferguson behind the plate. He'll go seventh. Mike Fischlin, hitting 117, will play short and bat eighth. And J.R. Richard, who threw 25 pitches, is in a sense relieving for himself and not relieving himself, although I bet he's doing that right now in the bathroom. So defensively for the Dodgers, Dusty Baker a 7-4 in left. Rick Monday a 4-3 in center. Reggie Smith a 5-8 in right. Ron Say is 7 at third rather. Bill Russell is an 8 at short. Davey Lopes a 10 at second. Steve Garvey a 9 at first. Joe Ferguson for the Dodgers is a 6 and a 4. And Don Sutton is an 8 on the mound with a perfect fielding percentage. I would expect you would see a lot of that Dodger infield and outfield tomorrow night in San Diego. Walling comes to the plate at 198. 2 homers and 7 RBI. Not often you get staked to a 6-run lead in the first inning. I just won a game on replay. The Angels scored 6 in the first, and Oakland scored 7 to win. See, it does happen. How you doing, Mr. Forsberg? Pitch to Walling is a ground ball to Say. Over to Garvey, 1 out. Brings up Terry Poole at 322, a home run and 17 RBI. Poole, I bet you see tomorrow night. And there's a fly ball to right. Smith, 2 out. Here's Cabell at 299, 5 homers and 33 RBI. Sutton delivers, and there's a ground ball up the middle. Lopes in front of the bag, over to Garvey for the out. So the Astros go down in order. Half an inning, or 1 inning in the books. 6-0 Dodgers. So, in case you joined us late, J.R. Richard went through the first 9 batters on 25 pitches in 1 inning. 4 hits, a home run, 2 walks, a strikeout, and 6 earned runs. Well, it can only get better for JR from here. Davey Lopes stole a base, walked, and scored. No, we have no backup games here. We don't have that capability. 1978. You're lucky I'm not doing this through a phone line. Woo, Roberto Diaz almost hold the 240-yard par 3. Now back to baseball. Okay, thanks. Pitch to Lopes is ball 4, and that's how we got started in this mess to begin with. So here's Russell. Reached and drove in a run because Lopes stole second and took third on the errant throw by Pujols. Struck him out. Got him on a 1-2 fastball at 96 on the black. And that'll bring up Reggie Smith, who's singled his first time up and scored. From the stretch. Struck him out. Check swing at 95 on an 0-2, and Richards fuming now. That's 3. Here's Ron Say. He walked and scored in that first inning. 2 out, runner on. Pitch to Say is a fly ball to right. Cruz in the corner, and that will retire the side. That's a lot quieter for Houston. No runs, no hits. They leave a man after 1.5. It's 6-0 Dodgers. Yep. How about that? This week in baseball. So Cruz, Watson, and Howell to face Sutton, who threw 5 pitches in the first. Jose of the 9-game hitting streak at 349, 4 homers, and 47 RBI. Yeah, you can jump around the schedule. Same in 2nd and 10 football. That's the beauty of Richard Hanna's games. Hard to score 6 in the Dome. Well, 4 of it came on a Monday grand slam. Pitch to Cruz is popped up right side. Lopes, 1 out. Only if Rick Waits is pitching. Bob Watson at 326. 7 homers and 53 RBI. Bob Watson, by the way, brought to my attention, and I knew this anyway, but in the comments from another game, that he scored the 1,000,000th run in Major League Baseball history in 1975. Pitch to Watson. Struck him out. Sutton got him on a 1-2 changeup on the outside corner, and that's 2. Brings up Art Howe, who is at 286, 5 homers, and 39 RBI. Sutton delivers. Base hit right field. Reggie Smith will pick it up off the turf, and there'll be no no-hitter today. Louis Pujols, 128. Not even hitting his weight. Heck, he's not even hitting my weight. No homers and 3 RBI. Sutton throws to first. Howe back. Barely. We're not stealing. I don't want Pujols to lead off an inning. Jeez. Little Nubber lopes in on the turf in front of the bag. Throws to Garvey, and that will retire the side. So the Astros do get a hit and leave a man. After 2, it's 6-0 L.A. I don't think so. The game was against the Reds. I'm drawing a blank whether it was in Houston or Cincinnati. I think it was in Houston. Be easier to do confetti from a dome. Of course, the Astros, their ground crew used to dress in spacesuits with the helmets to vacuum the field. Here's Garvey. He singled and scored his first time up. J.R. Richards pitch, and there's a ground ball to Fishland. Sharp Nubber over to first, and that will be 1 out. Dusty Baker singled, drove in his 36th of the year, and scored. Buckeye Todd B. wanted Wayne Garland to be an all-star. That was Cleveland's first ever high-priced free agent signing. He was the next Bob Feller until he wasn't. Was a top of the rotation, but not an ace pitcher for Baltimore. Went over to Cleveland and bombed. Yep, the Astrodome had glass because the roof was plexiglass. Pitch to Baker. Struck him out. So 2 out as Baker swung on a curve at 82 when there's 2 out. That's 4 for Richard, by the way. Rick Monday hit a grand slam his first time up. And so the outfielders complained, especially in day games, that they couldn't see because the sun would glare in the glass and balls would get lost. And so they painted the roof and the grass died. And so the infield was pretty much dead most of 65. They painted the grass in the outfield to make it look lively. It wasn't. And by the start of the 66 season, they had installed the artificial surface. Pitched to Monday, struck him out. Richard got him on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner. Dodgers go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the third. It's the Dodgers 6, the Astros nothing. So Mike Fischlin, not even hitting your golden retrievers rate at 117. No homers and 5 RBI. Sutton delivers, struck him out. That's 2 for Don. He swung on and missed an 86-mile-an-hour fastball. And that'll bring up J.R. Richard at 128 and 2 RBI. 10 strikeouts in the right field. Smith, 2 out. Fischlin was an Indian, too. Another great signing. I have a feeling that we're doing support chat for Indians fans. Denny Walling, 0 for 1. 9 batters deep for Sutton. 23 pitches. 2 2/3 innings. A hit and 2 strikeouts. What, the Astrodome? A huge pitcher's park. Oh, I forgot to do standings. Yes, you remember that week in 1990 when they signed Keith Hernandez, right? Pitch to Walling. Ground ball to Russell, over to Garvey. And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 3, it's 6-0 Dodgers. And so here's why we're not thinking there's much of a race left. The Dodgers' lead over Houston is now 8. They've taken 3 straight here. They're 56 and 29. And the Reds have found a fine time to start losing again. They're now 11 back. It's not over. We know that. Look at San Francisco. They're 14 back. They've won 5 straight. In the East, Philadelphia by 6 over Pittsburgh. Montreal just fell way apart. In the American League West, Kansas City by a 1.5 over Texas. Chicago and California 2 back, and Minnesota 4.5 back at 500. In the East, the Red Sox are a 500 team, and they've lost to Cleveland. Baltimore by a half game over the Yankees, and Milwaukee 4 back. So 5 teams with a good chance in the West and 3 in the East. And there isn't anybody in the National League within 5 games of first. Joe Ferguson says, I want to bat. He's 0 for 1. Richard delivers, strike 3. Got him on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball swinging. That's 6 for JR. And that brings up Don Sutton, who struck out his first time up. Tony Gwynn's birthday was yesterday. The Indian fans are still complaining about who they've signed over the years. Who's Chuck Finley's wife? I got to look her up. Pitch to Sutton, struck him out. So 4 straight Ks for Richard. This time it was a 1-2 breaking ball right over the knees. Oh, yes. Yeah, Tawny Katan, Playboy and Cinemax star. Here's Davy Lopes, who was not a Playboy or Cinemax star, but Davy loved the Klingon pick magazines, I can tell you that. Richard threw 18 batters, 3 2/3 innings, 64 pitches, 4 hits, the grand slam to Monday. All 6 runs are earned. He has walked 3 and struck out 7. Lopes has walked twice. Stole a base and scored. And this time he struck him out. So Richard gets the side. That is 5 straight. Curveball. For strike 3, no runs, no hits, no errors. After 3.5, the Dodgers 6, the Astros nothing. Ooh, she put a stiletto in Chuck Finley's leg. Ugh. Well, Ouch. So that'll bring up Terry Poole. And you wonder how Vin Scully does, the master of the segues. You know, are you just throwing a Farmer John at her or something like that? Poole is 0 for 1 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. That's right, you had Jack Morris, you had Phil Niekro, you had Steve Carlton, you had Orel Hershiser, too, at the end of his career, and Dwight Gooden. Pitch to Poole is into center field, left center. Monday goes over, 1 out. The ballpark playing big as it normally does here in Houston. The batting average is -6 for left, -8 for righties. Home runs, -6 for left and -48 for righties. We talked about Mimi Van Doren this week. Yeah, Denny Martinez. Yep. Martinez actually pitched well for you, though. So did Hershiser. Cabell is 0 for 1. Ground ball to Lopes, over to Garvey. 2 out. So Jose Cruz still sitting on a 9-game hitting streak. He's 0 for 1. Sutton going right through. He did. That was a legitimate home run. Pitch to Cruz, struck him out. So Sutton got him with a check swing at the knees, and that will retire the side. Sutton's got a 1-hitter through 4. No runs, no hits, no errors. It's the Dodgers 6, the Astros nothing. Rick Monday always plays well for me. So does Billy Russell. He's 0 for 2. He's driven in his 33rd run of the year and struck out. There was talk of bringing Cy Young back, but he died in the mid-50s. That wouldn't have stopped the Indians. Imagine all the jerseys they could have sold. Been hard for him to sign anything. I did. I took a sip of Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Pitch to Russell. Struck him out. Richard Dow has fanned 6 straight. Fastball on the outside corner. And that's 9 for JR. James Rodney Richard to face Reggie Smith. 1 for 2. He is struck out and singled. Well, I imagine you could. That's how you knew I took a drink. Pitch to Reggie. Make it 7. He has swung on and missed a 2-2 fastball. He is 2 off the record, by the way, of Tom Seaver, who retired 9 in a row by way of the K in 1970. So here's Ron Say. The Dodgers haven't put the ball in play in about 3 innings. 2 out. He's 0 for 1. He walked and scored.
Yes. No, talk.
Well, then you'll have to wait.
Yeah.
And today's episode of Spousal Conversation brought to you by Uncle Ron's Snake Tonic. The perfect snake oil for your sports simulation and replay needs. And our favorite pineapple flavor. Pitch to Say. Contact line drive to Cabell, and that will retire the side. Halfway home here at the Astrodome. No runs, no hits, no errors. Richard pitching great in relief of himself. And it's 6-0 Los Angeles. Harry Carey here. How about that? Here's Mark Gruzelniskik. But first, I'm a Cub fan and a Bud man. So if you joined us late, here's how the scoring went. Steve Garvey's got a 21-game hitting streak. Pete Rose is jealous. Dusty Baker singled home Reggie Smith. Bill Russell on a fielder's choice to make it 1-0. And then Rick Monday pounded one to right center to make it 6-0 Dodgers. But if you look at the last 4 innings for Richard, he struck out 10. and walked 3. So once he settled in, he has settled in, and Sutton has a 1-hitter through 4. Caloric and Cinnamon Toast Gillette, the best a man can get. So Bob Watson, Art Howe, and Louis Pujols to face Sutton here in the 5th. Bob struck out his first time up. Oh, Clorox. Big clue. 6-0 Dodgers. If you just joined us, Rick Monday with a grand slam in the first. And J.R. Richard struck out 7 straight. Pitch to Watson is into center field. Monday, 1 out. Clorox, not caloric. That'd be kind of an oxymoron to have something low calorie and then an ad for Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You know, there used to be a diet candy back in the 80s by the name of AIDS, AIDS, and it was one of those chocolate things. Art Howe, by the way, singled his first time up, that suppressed your appetite. I'm sure it filled you full of fiber or something there. I told you the record. It's Tom Seaver with 9. He did it against the Padres in 1970. But of course, with the AIDS virus, the company didn't make it. There will be no such thing for Corona beer. That was a poorly named candy. AIDS appetite suppressant. Yep. Pitch to Howe is a ground ball up the middle of base hit. He's going for 2. The throw to Russell, not in time. So Howe has a double. He has both the hits off of Sutton. Or Sutton, which rhymes with mutton. But I wouldn't want Don with mint jelly. Here's Pujols. He's 0 for 1. Into right. Smith in the corner makes the catch. Howe will hold at second. Reggie actually reached in the stands to make that. Big Lou looking for his local Mexican eatery to open up again so he can enjoy an ice-cold Corona with some chicken fajitas. I don't really drink all that much. Corona would not be what I drink, and has nothing to do with the disease. I've seen some of those Mexican breweries. There isn't enough filtration on the planet to get me to drink some of that stuff. Here's Mike Fischlin. He struck out his first time up. The fajitas sound good, though. I'm more of a Bloody Maria guy at a Mexican restaurant. They'll change the name to the Cola virus. Well, that's why I don't drink Pepsi. Pitch to Fischlin. Struck him out. Sutton got him to swing and miss on an 86-mile-an-hour fastball, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit, no errors. After 5, it's the Dodgers 6, the Astros nothing. So J.R. Richard to face Garvey, Baker, and Monday. Garvey 1 for 2. He singled and scored. He has not struck out yet. But to give it time, Richard has 10 through 5. He could conceivably break the record. That candy, Robbie says, could have been useful to a kid if his parents were making something for dinner he didn't like. I don't know. I think they pretty much were speed, weren't they? The old diet pills and stuff. I mean, they're just atrocious for you. It's like the equivalent today of a 5-hour energy drink. Pitch to Garvey. Struck him out. So Richard got him on an 0-2 fastball at 95, and that's 11. And that'll bring up Dusty Baker 1 for 2. He is singled and struck out. Drove in his 36th run and scored. Got him! An 0-2 fastball at 92. And that's 12 through 2 outs here in the 6th. Pitch count-wise, he is doing great. If you take off the 6th spot on the board, this would be 1 for the ages from Richard. His season high, by the way, is 13. He did it against the Phillies and only walked 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is his 9th double-digit strikeout performance. No, he allowed a line drive, so this isn't the record. That's not the record. But this has been one whale of a performance. Here's Monday. He had the grand slam in the first and struck out. He's 1 for 2. Pitch, and there's a chopper down to Watson. Underhands it to Richard, and that should and will retire the side. After 5.5, no runs, no hits, no errors. It's the Dodgers 6, the Astros nothing. No, if it was for the record, I would have said something. Speaking of which, so you're gonna pitch J.R. Richard till you can't at this point. The Astros used 5 pitchers in their loss yesterday. Richard 0 for 1. Pitch from Sutton. Ground ball to first. Garvey takes it to the bag himself. 1 out. So through 18 batters, Sutton 60 pitches. Wow. 5 1/3 innings. Double wow. 2 hits. No walks and 4 strikeouts. The only hits are Art Howe's. He's 2 for 2. So Walling 0 for 2. Tommy Lasorda already packing his lasagna. Yeah, Art Howe. To manage the All-Star team tomorrow night. 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific, right here live on Retro Sports Network. Base hit left center field. So Walling goes the opposite way, and that'll bring up Terry Poole, who is 0 for 2. Thinks we're going to hit and run here with 1 out. See if Houston can get back in the ballgame. Pitch from Sutton. There goes Walling. Line drive, foul. And somebody from around Rock, Texas made that catch. So a ball and 2 strikes to Poole, and the Astros will leave the hit and run on. Terry has a 7-game hitting streak. I think so. I think now it's pretty much over. Pitch to Terry. There goes Walling. Base hit all the way to the wall and right. Poole will go into second standing. And Walling on third. So it's 6-0 with runners on second and third. The Reds are 11 back. It's not impossible, but the Reds' bullpen isn't very good. So here's Cabell. He's 0 for 2. First time Sutton has had runners in scoring position. And the Astros and Reds didn't get enough. Ha ha ha. No, the computer will pick the all-star teams, and I'll do the lineup from there. Because obviously some players in the replay have outperformed what they did in real life and vice versa. I mean, Chet Lemon leads the majors in hitting. He's hitting .385. He's playing in this game. And not sure who the starters will be. So, no. I'll do all that stuff for you live tomorrow night. Not enough time, and I want to get going here because it's taken me 5 months to get to July 9th. So, pitch to Cabell is fouled behind the plate. Foul tip, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Pitch. Struck him out. So 2 out. Sutton got the swing and a missed strikeout. And I'll bring up Cruz, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. But you guys can help pick players tomorrow night. Pitch to Cruz into left field. Baker makes the catch, and the Astros strand 2. They threaten but do not score. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. After 6, it's Los Angeles 6, Houston nothing. Joe Ferguson 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Richard starts the 7th. It's not the time, it's the journey. No, you won't see Deep Thoughts on the Fortnite channel for sure. We've done so many bonus games on here, because it's only supposed to be 3 games a week. And we get 5 and 6. We do, by the way, have, and I don't know when we'll actually play them. I've done the schedule out for the rest of July. And there are 2 scheduled doubleheaders. So that requires a lot of beverages. Pitch to Ferguson. Ball 4. Richard thought he had it. Didn't get it. Pujols and Richard kind of talk about it. 3-1 upstairs. And Richard goes down to Dave Gardner, and Gardner says, hey, I'm watching the hockey game. So Ferguson on. That's the fourth walk. Sutton has struck out twice, and if you're Button up 6 runs, you're going to get plunked. He squares. Pujols throws it to Howe, covering. Howe just kind of gives Sutton a shove as he goes by. Tommy not liking that. 1 away. Ferguson on second. Here's Lopes. Davey is 0 for 1. He has walked twice and struck out once. Richard, 101 bat pitches through 27 batters. 6 1/3 innings. 4 hits, a homer. He has walked 4 and struck out 12. Remember, season high was 13, May 26th against Philadelphia. Detroit was so bad when I was growing up, we only got 1 player in the All-Star game. Depending on what time this finishes, I might pick the teams. Ground ball to Fishlin, over to Watson for the out. So 2 out for Russell. Bill is 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. Ground ball to Howe, over to Watson, and that will retire the side. So Richard recovering from losing his temper a bit. Stretch time, 6-0 Dodgers. Bob Watson steps in 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Sutton's only at 75 pitches through 6. Richard would bat 5th this inning. So since he can't break the record anymore, we will pinch hit for him when the time comes. He is only at 107 pitches. So we'll see. Pitch to Watson is a little ground ball to Garvey. Takes it over to Sutton for the out. So Garvey had to come in on technically where the infield grass would be to make the play. Here's Howe. Art, single and a double. He has 2 of the 4 hits the Astros have on the board. I'm sure you can. I don't know how we do it. It can be done, I'm sure. Let me think about that. Let me talk with Dave. The thing is, the other person would have to see it in real time. And it probably wouldn't be baseball. Was that San Diego? Or Cleveland? Pitch to Howe. Base hit left side. So Art is 3 for 3. 3-1 count. Louis Pujols is 0 for 2. Howe not a threat to steal. L.A. Oh, yeah, it's been 40 years, so they've been at Dodger Stadium this year. Pitch to Pujols is a liner to left. Baker's there for the out. I'm sure we could do it. 2019 was Cleveland. Okay. Mike Fishlin is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. 5 hits for the Astros. And that hit him. Yeah, it would be Dave. It wouldn't be baseball that we would do. So J.R. Richards' day is done. Who are we bringing in? Who can hit a righty? Rafael Landeskog, who's 0 for 6. Certainly won't be in L.A. this year. And if they're only going to do a half season anyway, you wouldn't do an all-star game. You just want to get the regular games in. Landeskog, by the way, 0 for 6 on the real year. Hit .266, no homers, 5 doubles, and 9 RBI. Next year is supposed to be in Atlanta. Howe on second, Fishlin on first. Line drive right to Garvey for the out. Oh, baby. Garvey leapt Made the catch, came down, and Aqua netted his hair. No runs, one hit, no errors. The Astros strand two. We go to the bottom of the top of the eighth. It's the Dodgers 6, the Astros nothing. Oh, goody. You get 2 innings of Oscar Zamora. Isn't that wonderful? Actually, you're going to get Ken Forge because he can pitch. So Ken Forge in relief. He's making his 29th appearance of the year. Yeah, they don't really care about that anymore, Mike, where they play him. They don't alternate as much. Forge, 1-1 with 9 saves. An ERA of 3.58. This is his 7th appearance against the Dodgers. He's gone 10 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. He walked 4 and struck out 2. Triple ground ball plus pitcher. Fastball goes at 86. We're just bringing up all sorts of bad memories. I'm sure we can do something along that line. He pitched both ends of a doubleheader yesterday, as a matter of fact. So he's really going on fumes. He went 5 innings, allowed 3 hits, an unearned run. He walked 1 and struck out 1. That's in the doubleheader. That's both games. So 37 2/3 innings, 48 hits. A home run allowed, 18 runs, 15 earned. He walked 11 and struck out 17. MLB does never seem to pass up an opportunity to shoot itself in the foot. And should we talk about their little brother, the National Hockey League? So Reggie Smith, Ron Say, and Steve Garvey here in the 8th. Reggie has struck out twice, singled and scored. Well, as far as major professional North American leagues they are, and the the NHL and Major League Baseball, although they're not technically related, they are not the brightest bulbs in the shed. Base hit up the middle. So Smith is on with a single. That's the first hit for the Dodgers since the first inning. Here's Ron Say. He's 0 for 2. He's walked and scored. Yep, holes in the feet of sports organizations have many holes. None of the 4, I think, are all that great. Not as corrupt as some certain college organizations. And let's not even talk about the IOC or FIFA. Pitch to Say is into center field. Poole makes the catch for the out. I don't have a problem with Manfred. I know that a lot of people do, and I can certainly understand that. But this is a sport that does bring in $10 billion a year in revenue. Here's Garvey. He's 1 for 3. He has singled and struck out and scored. Ringgals. I guess in the Korean leagues, they have cheerleaders on the dugout. Throw to first. Smith is back. Pitch to Garvey. Up the middle. Might be 2. Landestoy to Howe. Over to Watson. And that is 2. They got him. 6-4-3. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 6-0 Dodgers. Oh, Heidi Watney does nothing for me. She was on Nesson to do the Red Sox games. And, yep, she's pretty. But she also came across as Box of Rocks intelligent. I like Pam Oliver. I want to see people on television who are smart. And Heidi just doesn't strike me as dumb, but she just... Yeah, Pam knows her sport. Absolutely. Here's Walling. He's 1 for 3. Pitch from Sutton is into right center field. Monday has it for the out. So 1 away for Poole, 1 for 3 for a double. That's saying a lot if she's the best of that bunch. Pitch to Terry is a ground ball foul, first base side. Mr. Forsberg watched that. Rachel Nichols. I like her. Heidi can read a teleprompter. I'm not sure how well she thinks on her feet. I mean, that's what Pam Oliver does so well. I'm not reading that one out loud, but I agree with you, Big Clue. Poole 1 for 3. Double. 2 outs. Sutton's pitch, ball 4. So that'll bring up Cabell. Enos is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. From the stretch. Ground ball to Russell. It should. No, he goes over to first. And that will retire. No, it's an out. That was the second out. Not answering that one. Yes, the KBO commentaries in English on ESPN every day. They're calling them from home. I bet they are. You can't be dumb and be a cheerleader. You really can't. Because first of all, you've got all that stuff to memorize. You have all those PR appearances. I mean, you're busy a ton. And there are some very good female reporters. Jose Cruz is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Pitch to Jose. Ground ball to Say. That's off his glove. So Poole will stop at third. Cruz on first. The Astros again with runners in scoring position, or a runner in scoring position for Bob Watson, who's 0 for 3. Linda Cohn's very good. There's some good ones. I like Susie Colbert, too. So runners on first and third for Watson, who's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Ferguson and Sutton trying to get on the same page. Into right, Smith has it for the great play. Dove in there on the dirt and made the catch. So the Astros are still being shut out. They leave 2 more on. They've left 8. After 8, 6-0 Dodgers. So Baker, Monday, and Ferguson here in the 9th. Dusty 1 for 3. Has struck out twice and singled. Run scored and an RBI. Pitch to Baker. Struck him out. So Forsch got him to swing at some 2-2 junk. And Baker has struck out for the 3rd time today. You know, I know that she takes a lot of guff. I'm not reading that one either. But Susan Waldman knows her stuff. She really does. She was the first voice ever heard on WFAN, by the way, when it turned into an all-sports station in 1987. She's covered the Yankees that long. Monday, 1 for 3. His grand slam in the first put this one away early. Struck him out. Got him to swing and miss on a full count. And that's 2 for Forsch, and there's 2 out for Ferguson. He's 0 for 2, a walk and a strikeout. Yep, she is now John Sterling's partner. Ma and Pa Yankee, as they call him. And Waldman doesn't do any play-by-play, but she really does know her stuff. And I wish she did do some play-by-play. There's a lot of knowledgeable women in sports. Pitch to Ferguson. Up to Forsch, over to Watson for the out. And so we go to the bottom of the 9th. No runs, no hits, no errors. It's the Dodgers 6, the Astros nothing. So Sutton looking for the shutout. He's thrown a 5-hitter. He has walked 1 and struck out 5 through 8. Art Howe has 3 of the Astros' 5 hits. Ba-doom boom. And that's what the Yankees pay her for, Mark, is to be a homer. It's what they want. Sutton deals, and there's a base hit. Art Howe has gone 4 for 4. He has 4 of the Astros' 6 hits. Here's Louis Pujols, who's 0 for 3. We're going to pinch hit. Reggie Baldwin at 291, a homer, 9 RBI. Oh, I think with the Yankees record, you kind of got to be... They're kind of Broadway homers, I think would be that. I mean, every time I listen to Sterling, I think of Jim Backus, who played Mr. Magoo, and Thurston Howell on Gilligan's Island. It is high, it is far, it's an A-bomb from A-Rod. You know, that sort of thing. Sterling loves to listen to himself talk. And I'm sorry about you in the headphones, Robbie. Pitch to Baldwin is a ground ball to Russell. Makes a diving stop. Lopes for 1. Garvey for, is it 2? Did it not pay off? What a play by Russell to save the hit, and they got a double play out of it. Ho, ho, baby. Russell dove deep in the hole, flung it to Lopes, who was on the bag, threw and did a perfect pivot over to Garvey for the out. And so that'll bring up Jesus Alou. Don Sutton tips his cap to his shortstop, who just turned an amazing double play. Alou at 393, a homer and 7 RBI. So Sutton is about to go 12-6. And probably not pitch because there won't be enough time in the All-Star game. Pitch. And there's a base hit in the left center field. So Baker will pick it up. And now I'll bring up Rafael Landeskog, who was retired his first time up. He's 0 for 1. 6 runs, 5 hits, an error for the Dodgers. They only left 2 runners on today. The Astros, no runs, 7 hits, an error, and they've left 8 on. Leslie did some serious stuff in the beginning of his career. And if you do a YouTube search for Leslie Nielsen in commercials, he was I believe he did ads for Ford, and they weren't funny, and they weren't supposed to be. Yep, and Backus was right. He was a good actor. He just played that role of Thurston Howell perfectly. Pitch to Landeskog. Ground ball to Lopes. That'll do it. Over to Garvey for the out. Hang with us. We're going to go through the day in baseball, and really, Backus was in Rebel without a cause. We're going to show you the All-Star team, so don't go anywhere. Well, I hit the right button anyway. So Sutton is our digitalized player of the game. 9 innings, 7 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. And he goes to 12-6. Rick Monday's grand slam was the difference. J.R. Richard, just forget about the 6 runs. They all came in the first. He went 6 innings without allowing a hit. It was the first that he gave up 6 runs on 4 hits. He struck out 12, including 7 in a row at one point. He walked 4, and Ken Forsch gets some deserved time off. 6 runs, 5 hits, an error for the Dodgers. No runs, 7 hits, and an error for the Astros. Art Howe went 4 for 4. All right. The rest of the day in baseball. San Francisco shuts out Cincinnati 5-0. Halicki with the win. He goes to 7-3. Jack Clark with his 12th of the year. Montreal beats, as my screen jumped, Philadelphia 13-2. Dan Schatzeder with a win. He goes to 2-3. He beats Steve Carlton. 5 homers for the Expos, including 1 by Tony Perez, and 16 hits. Cubs beat the Mets behind Mike Krukow 4-1. Boston beat Cleveland. How about that? The talented Mr. Ripley gets the win. Allen 5-5. Rick Wise, the former Sox, goes to 8-7. Rick Burleson, a double, a stolen base, 3 for 5. Toronto beats Chicago 4-2. Baylor Moore goes to 6-4. Alan Ashby, 2 homers, and the winning cause. Pittsburgh beats St. Louis 5-3 and 10. Eddie Whitson gets his first of the year. Eddie Milner with 3 RBI and a double. Milwaukee has beaten the Yankees in 11, 9-8. Yankees get 17 hits and lose. Gossage gives up the loss. Larry Heisel, 3 for 5 in his 24th homer. Kansas City beat Baltimore 8-7. The Mad Hungarian gets the win. Herboski 3-2. May his 15th of the year. Earl Weaver smoked a full pack as Don Stanhouse goes to 7-2. Nolan Ryan shuts down Seattle 2-1. John Hale 2 for 4 with 2 doubles in the loss for Seattle. Oakland 5, Minnesota 4. Craig Bonetto gets the win. Dave Goltz the loss. Rod Carew 2 for 5, a triple and a double. Atlanta. Oh, by the way, Ryan struck out 11. Gary Matthews, by the way, drove in 7 in that game and hit 3 homers, including a grand slam. Okay, that's the end of that. Texas beats Detroit 6-5 and 17. There you go. Let's go to the All-Star break and play a doubleheader. Paul Lindblad goes to 4-3. Sykes 3-4. Toby Hara goes 2 for 4. Detroit walked 11 batters. Ryan, by the way, struck out 11 in his win. And Baltimore had 4 errors against Kansas City. All right. Let's do it. Let's show you some standings and show you some All-Stars, shall we? So the standings at the break. The Dodgers by 9 over Houston. 12 over Cincy. In the East, Pittsburgh 5 behind Philadelphia. Montreal 12.5. Kansas City, a game and a half over Texas. 2 over California. 3 over Chicago. 5.5 over Minnesota. Baltimore wins 50 in the first half. They lead the Yankees by half a game. Milwaukee by 3. The Red Sox by 7. Unbelievable. Are you ready? Are you ready? The National League All-Stars. First, let's meet the batters, shall we? From the Cincinnati Reds, George Foster. From the Philadelphia Phillies, Greg Luzinski. From the Pittsburgh Pirates, Dave Parker. From the Montreal Expos, Andre Dawson. From the Los Angeles Dodgers, Reggie Smith. From the Cincinnati Reds, Johnny Bench. From the Los Angeles Dodgers, Steve Garvey. From the Los Angeles Dodgers, noticing a trend here, Ron Cey. From the St. Louis Cardinals, Ted Simmons. From the San Francisco Giants, Bill Madlock. Also from the San Francisco Giants, Jack Clark. From the Los Angeles Dodgers, Davey Lopes. From the New York Mets, Willie Montanez. From the Philadelphia Phillies, Gary Maddox. From the San Diego Padres, Gene Richards. From the Cincinnati Reds, Pete Rose. From the Philadelphia Phillies, Larry Bowa. And from the St. Louis Cardinals, Gary Templeton. And now your pitchers. And again, they're all starters. This is what happened last year. From the Atlanta Braves, Phil Niekro. From the San Diego Padres, Randy Jones. From the St. Louis Cardinals, Bob Forsch. From the Montreal Expos, Steve Rogers. From the Cincinnati Reds, Tom Seaver. From the Philadelphia Phillies, Steve Carlton. From the Montreal Expos, Ross Grimsley. From the San Francisco Giants, Bob Nepper. From the Los Angeles Dodgers, Bert Hooton. And from the New York Mets, Craig Swan. I'm tempted to go with Bert Hooton. But we'll see. There's some good choices there. So that's the National League 28. And now, your American League players. From the Boston Red Sox, Jim Rice. From the Cleveland Indians, Andre Thornton. From the Milwaukee Brewers, Larry Heisel. From the California Angels, Don Baylor. From the Milwaukee Brewers in center field, Gorman Thomas. From third base in the New York Yankees, Greg Nettles. From the New York Yankees in right field, Reggie Jackson. From the Baltimore Orioles at first, Eddie Murray. From the Baltimore Orioles, Doug DeCinces. From the Baltimore Orioles, Ken Singleton. From the Boston Red Sox, catching Carlton Fisk. From the Boston Red Sox in left field, Carl Yastrzemski. From the Chicago White Sox, Chet Lemon. From the Kansas City Royals, Darrell Porter. From the Chicago White Sox, George Orta. From the Minnesota Twins, Roy Smalley. From the Kansas City Royals, Frank White. And from the Oakland A's, because you got to take somebody, Mario Guerrero. Oh, we did take 2 relievers in the American League. The pitchers. From the Kansas City Royals, Dennis Leonard. From the Baltimore Orioles, Jim Palmer. From the Milwaukee Brewers, Larry Sorensen. From the New York Yankees, Ron Guidry. From the Minnesota Twins, Jeff Zahn. From the Milwaukee Brewers, Mike Caldwell. From the Texas Rangers, I think he's the only one from Texas to make the team, John Matlack. From the Minnesota Twins, Gary Serum. And the relievers from the California Angels, Dave LaRoche. And from the New York Yankees, Goose Gossage. So those are your 56 all-star players. And I would think, wow, Palmer or Guidry? I would have thought that wow. So we'll figure that out. 7:45 Eastern tomorrow night. And 4:45 Eastern, or 4:45 Pacific. So that's what we got for you from San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium. I'm Ron Juckett. We hope you enjoyed this one. We'll talk to you soon. Tonight on the Support Chat and tomorrow for Support Chat. And really, all-star baseball. We'll talk to you then. Have yourselves a good afternoon.